إذ يختصمون إن يوحى إلي إلا أنما أنا نذير مبين.
Say to them, O Muhammad, I am only a warner, and none should be worshipped but God alone, the One, the Absolute, Lord of the heavens and the earth.
Via satellite on Galaxy 19 FTA. At this satellite frequency, transponder rate 5, frequency 11836 MHz, polarity vertical, symbol rate.
We've finished the judging and we're going to be announcing it right here on Guidus TV. You don't want to miss that because we have a first prize of $1,000 in the next. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We're coming to you almost live from our studios right here in Southern California. Yeah, it just kind of looks like I'm in somebody's living room, doesn't it? Well, with the pandemic, what's going on around the world, I think a lot of people are working out of their house right now. And actually, I am in a quasi-studio, and this is really a green screen behind me. And just looks like I'm in some fancy house. Yeah, all right. Who cares, right? Let's find out who our guests are today. All the way from Yuma, Arizona, we have one of our dear sisters. She's come to Islam and really done remarkable, very well. Spent actually several years ago, I guess it was 4 years ago, we did a live broadcast for like 90 days straight. Is that right, Sister Kim?
Walaikum assalam, and yes, that is true. 90 days. It was a long one.
Yeah, it was. We didn't miss a single night. We were on the air trying to get the Muslims to go out and vote. And guess what? I heard another voice with us right now. Let's find out who that voice belongs to. That's the golden voice of none other than Richard Kaifar. Salaam alaikum.
Alaikum salam. I guess if I had a golden voice, I would maybe trade it in and see if it would be worth anything.
Well, it's
more like a copper voice.
Copper?
Maybe.
Or lead. Or lead.
I was told you have a voice for radio, face for radio.
Yeah, the perfect face for radio.
Yeah, there we go.
Well, Richard is in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and let's find out what's going on up there. Richard, tell us a little bit about if you know something that's going on there in Ann Arbor or in Michigan, the state there. Let us know what can we expect.
The Great Lakes state of Michigan, kind of divided on the educational thing. Schools are trying to open, and some schools are not opening. We're just, we're kind of hoping. The governor has kind of put, some hard rules back in place. The bars are closed, and because the numbers were starting to increase, and she stepped in and said, no, we can't do that. And so we've kind of taken a step back, but as we do that, the numbers are a little better. So, I don't know. I guess I'm kind of at a point of, until we get a vaccine of something, we're just going to have to weather this thing out anyway. Although I did hear a politician who didn't do me good for being a senior citizen. He kind of said, we should just open everything, let the virus take its route. He said, we're going to lose about 2% of the population, but the other 98% are going to be fine. I was like, wonder if I'm that 2%, part of that 2%. I'm not sure I want to be in there, but it was kind of cold and heartless to say, yeah, we'll just kind of let it out, and whoever's strong will survive, and those who can't don't. And And by that time, everybody will have immunities and it won't matter. I said, wow.
Survival of the
guy.
fittest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this guy. Yeah,
If
this
if
guy's
you really
also-
believe we came from monkeys and the survival of the fittest,
Yeah.
just another monkey
Well,
died.
Well, what's funny is this guy is pro-life. He's a pro-life politician.
Yeah. Somebody who's pro-life is willing to let people die. And what did he say? 5% of the population could go down the drain? Oh, that's all right.
Yeah, no problem. Actually, he said 2, but
Oh,
he said,
2%.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, wow.
But,
That's actually reasonable, right? As long as I'm not
Oh.
the one, right?
Exactly.
How
Well,
old
that's
is
kind of-
How old was this gentleman? And I use that term very.
I'm not sure. I'm sure he was kind of 40s, 50s kind of guy. So he'd have a different approach if he was 70, 80. Especially with we're so susceptible to the virus, and we're not as strong as we can be. But I just thought that was just kind of let's just open it up. We need the business set to go, and too bad if you're one of the fatalities.
Let's find out what Sister Kim thinks about all this. Sister, what's going on with that?
Well, what's interesting is just today I found that a Phoenix TV station was deciding to do a series of programs on Arizonans who had passed away from the virus. And they showed the pictures of the first 30, and there's several thousand. But they showed pictures of the first 30, and I was looking at them, and what struck me was of the 30 pictures, only one appeared to be a senior citizen. All the rest of them appeared to be in their 30s and 40s. And they've been saying for so long that, oh, you're only at risk of COVID if you're a senior citizen or you have an underlying condition. And these people were all young, healthy, and they still passed away. And it really hit me hard because people say that, oh, well, if we're going to let 2% go, we're going to let 2% go. But they're thinking people who are at the end of their lives who have made their contribution. They're not thinking about parents with small children. They're not thinking about fathers who are earning money for families. And so it was...
Hey, and they're also not thinking about cool dudes with talk shows on the Guide Us TV, right?
Right, they're not thinking of that either.
Well,
So yeah, that really hit home with me.
yeah, I think I think that is a little bit harsh. No matter how you look at it, to say that you're willing to give up even 0.5% of the population, those are human beings.
Mm-hmm.
And even if it was
That's
one person,
thousands of human beings.
yeah, it is. Actually, if it was the entire Earth, 2% of the entire Earth's population would be in the millions.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how somebody could have a position, a high position in the United States, and have that kind of an attitude that they're willing to kiss off 2%. That's not very nice. Very, very
What does the
inconsiderate.
Quran say? What does the Quran say about stuff like this? Because
There's a classic example in the Quran. This is the most classic example that I can think of. That it's talking about killing somebody. All right. So if you kill an innocent soul, and it doesn't even go into the how you kill them, it's just that you've killed somebody. So if you allowed a virus to get on that person knowingly, or if you said, well, I don't need these people, and even one person died as a result of your carelessness or decision or whatever, one, it's as though you killed all the people on the earth. But if you saved one person, it's as though you saved all the people on the earth. Now, that's in front of Allah. Now, I would like to caution our audience to consider this very seriously. Consider this from a very serious point of view, because if you allow even one person to die that you could save, then it's like you killed everybody. And if you save one person, it's like you saved everybody. And how many chances do we get to save people? Well, this is a great chance to save people right now. Because if you go out into the population and you're out there sneezing and coughing on people, then you could be spreading this virus and even not know that you have it. So whenever you put on the mask, here we go. Whenever you put on that mask, it's not just for you, is it? That's to protect other people from you. And you're getting a reward with Allah because you are protecting other people from anything you might carry. Of course, you're protecting yourself to some extent anyway, but the big thing is, if both of you, there's two people here, okay? And if both of you are wearing your mask and keeping your social distance, about 6-7 feet away, if you would do that with the intention of trying to save somebody's life, you have that reward like you have saved all the people. Now, think about that. Now, tomorrow starts a very beautiful day. Actually, it starts when the sun goes down for Maghrib. But that day, for us, is the first of 2 days that we're going to be fasting. We're going to fast tomorrow, which is Saturday. Then we're going to fast again on Sunday, inshallah. But Sunday is the 10th, or Ashura, of Muharram. Now, here's the story behind that, okay? The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam realized that the Jews were fasting on celebrating a day by fasting, and he asked, "Well, what is this day?" And one of the companions investigated, came back, and he said, "Well, they're fasting because this is the day of the year that is celebrated by the Jews." And they like to fast on this day because it's the day that Pharaoh chased after the children of Israel, and I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. Pharaoh was drowned in the sea, okay, and the children of Israel escaped. So for that reason, that's why they're fasting that day. So then, this is the Prophet ﷺ. Now, he said, because we're more entitled to this Moses tradition than anybody. So we're going to fast the day before and the day. So the 9th, okay, and the 10th of Muharram, those are the days that we fast during the daylight hours. And he was talking about the rewards that you get. There's no single day with more benefit than that. Now, we have a night in Ramadan called Laylatul Qadr. And that's a super night for us to get up and pray and worship and everything. But this is the day, meaning Sunday. Okay, that's going to be the day for the fasting there, and there's no other day in the whole year that's like the rewards that you will get for that. All right? So that's why we give so much focus to this, and that's called Ashura, because it's the 10th day of Muharram. All right? Okay, Sister Kim, we're back with you again. Go ahead.
One thing, I don't know if you want to talk about this or if this is something that you would prefer to avoid, but I had some questions on it. As you might be aware, there's been some protests in Kenosha, Wisconsin.
Yes.
And the
That's-
protests have been for Black Lives Matter.
Yes.
And just last night, there was a shooting at the protests. And unfortunately, 2 people passed away and 1 person was injured.
Yes.
Without getting
Tomorrow
into
is
the
Friday.
politics of it,
Not Saturday.
I was wondering if Islam said anything about protesting. We know, for example, that the Quraysh protested against the Muslims, and we know that Jesus, may he be blessed, protested in the temple. But is there anything in specific that the Quran or the Hadith says about protesting?
Yeah, actually, the Muslims have been ordered by Allah to take it easy about anything of altercations, getting into fights and getting into riots, things like this. However, at the same time, and I wanted to bring that part of it up first, but at the same time, I have a responsibility to stand up for what is right. So if we're going to protest against something, it has to be on certain terms. That must be that we're organized and everybody that's there with us understands this is the only purpose that we're here. It's not gonna, you can't bring up your deal and I'll bring up another deal and somebody else will bring up another deal and we'll go out here and go crazy and act the fool. That is not the way to present yourself. So we'll start out now. If we're talking about, let's say, save a certain kind of animal, all right? There's certain kind of animals that I just posted something on Facebook and showed a man who was standing on top of an elephant and shooting other elephants. And he had permission to do so. By the way, I don't know if you know this, but he had permission to do so because there's some country in Africa that allows for culling the herd to reduce the numbers of the elephants at that point, and then they're allowed to go in there and shoot them. And I think he said he's killed way over 5,000 elephants. And yeah, and that is an amazing number. So suppose that I don't like that. And I have a lot of other friends who are saying, these are the elephants. We need to relocate them somewhere. If you really feel like there are too many, let's relocate them. And so we can protest that. But you should have, number one, an understanding of what is going on, a serious understanding, and then a solution for the problem. Because you can't just go out there and say, no, I don't want you to kill the elephants. Well, maybe the elephants or any animal are in that particular area are too prolific. You have too many of them. So what can you do? All right. So this makes a lot of sense. Now, when it comes to the subject that you were talking about in, I think it was in Wisconsin. Is that right?
Yeah, Kenosha, Wisconsin.
Yeah. I think somebody was killed by the police there. Is that right?
No, actually, there was 2 people that were killed by a 17-year-old.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Unfortunately, there are too many people getting killed every day. But, oh, yes, you are right. That is, oh my God, I remember reading about it yesterday. That was so bad. I would like to remind everybody that Islam does not allow this kind of thing. If you're welcome to protest, provided you have a legitimacy of your protests. You can't go out here and protest against grass hats, and say, well, nobody should make a hat out of grass, and that's a weird thing. But you can definitely be a part of an organization that would like to bring about law and order, righteousness, and so on. But as Muslims, we stay away from crazy stuff. I hope. But and now the incident that I was referring to was I think that I thought it was in Wisconsin, but maybe I'm wrong. But they said that and they showed a video that a man was trying to stop a fight between two women. And then the police arrived and they misunderstood, I think, and they started going after him, and he was the one trying to stop the fight, and they were tasing him. And then when he got up, he walked around, he was going around to his car to get into his car and just leave. And they shot him 7 times in the back.
Right, that's accurate.
Yeah, so, and he had little children in the car.
It was his 8-year-old's birthday, actually.
Yeah. I'd forgotten that part of it. What, I don't know, what city was that? Do you remember?
Kenosha.
Kenosha. All right. So that's, yeah. I think that the Black Lives Matter, the more I understand about it, the better I see that is a real strong, legitimate position for us to consider. Because it's not just black over white, it is Black Lives Matter too. And I heard a very intelligent man bring that up just the other day. And as a matter of fact, I think he's here with us right now. Assalamu alaikum, Richard. Go ahead.
Well, salam. I'm just picturing this whole thing of the protest, and I don't know. I'm from a different generation. You know, I'm from a time when it just didn't happen. Protest, killings, brutality. There's like been a whole moral upheaval that's I don't know, it's just a mystery to me. I'm almost fearful of the life for my children and grandchildren. What's going to be here? The level of racism has been,
Yeah, actually, I thought we were well past all of that. And then the 60s resurfaced that and came out again, and then again and again. It looks like that there's a group of people that don't want it to end, and there's another group of people that can't let it go. But the African Americans or anybody of dark skin color is a target for these people, and that's unbelievable.
There's actually a group of people called the Boogaloo Boys that are trying to start a racial war.
Is that what that is? I saw something about that, and I didn't know what I was looking at. Tell us about it.
The Boogaloo Boys is an online hate group that has been operating through social media, and their goal is specifically to start a race war between white and black people.
Oh my God. Oh my God. That's ridiculous. Tell us some more about it.
Well, what they've been doing, unfortunately, is they've been showing up at protests. I believe their, for lack of a better term, gang colors are Hawaiian shirts. And they've been showing up at protests and trying to aggravate, and in some cases causing violence where no violence has been before, to make it look as if the protesters are the ones causing the violence. There was one person back when Minneapolis was the flashpoint for the Black Lives Matter movement, what they called Umbrella Man. And he went to he was a white man who went to AutoZone and started smashing the windows. And they got this on video, and he looked right at the camera and said, "I'm just getting things started." And then he walked away. And this is the type of activity that the Boogaloo Boys have been doing at these protests, where it's been a peaceful protest, and they'll do something to incite rioting.
Boogaloo Boys. Well, we have something up on the screen right now for everybody to take a look at. Yep, there it is. Social networks enable. Wow. Who are the Boogaloo Boys? I didn't know what it was. I saw something about it, and then I didn't get to read the article yesterday, so... Oh, wait a minute. Now this is really funny, because I'm looking at a protester here, but the funny part about it is he has a scarf over his lower part of his face, like he's using it for a mask, but it's made from the Palestinian headscarf, it looks like. And I bet you if he knew that, he wouldn't have it.
No, probably not.
Oh my God. Oh man. This just shows you.
It's just kind of interesting where we're going as a country. The kids are leaving the churches. Parents aren't going to church. There's no moral fiber. Even during this COVID thing, I mean, the alcohol, liquor business has skyrocketed, and people finding solace at the end of a bottle. And it's like, what have we become? We're just not. What was it? Was it Ronald Reagan or one of the presidents who said that America will cease to be great when America ceases to be good? And it's just like, we're not good. We're mean. We want to deport people. We want to build walls and keep people out. We want to profile people from a standard of police. Where they just it's just fascinating where this is all going. I think as a country we're not in good shape.
Well, I think this is a real good time. If somebody has never voted before, this is a good time to come out and vote and see what we can do to bring back some kind of normalcy to,
Well, it's even to the point where, the Black Lives Matter is kind of, everybody will, there's other people on the other side saying, no, all lives matter. And yeah, all lives matter, but the Black Lives Matter is saying that the Black Lives Matter because at this point they haven't. 1964, we gave them, the equal opportunity, or what was that? The equal rights vote for the African Americans, but it's not been applied. There's still profiling and prejudice and bigotry, and even to the point of objecting to bringing down the statues of men who were very detrimental and hurtful to a whole population of African American people who were brought over here against their will, made to work, made to die. Their women were raped, and they were sold. Their children were sold, taken away from them, and it's like, well, that's a nice part of our history, you know.
All right, we got to take a phone call. We got a caller here. Let's take a caller. Salam alaikum, caller. MashaAllah. We can hear you pretty good. Go ahead. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm Abdul calling from Delray Beach, Florida.
Ah, how's everything in Florida?
Mashallah, it's good. We're a little bit far away from Miami, so mostly it's COVID. It's a little bit high in that direction. This area, it's kind of quiet.
All right. Well, we got to take a quick break. Stay on the line with me, and we'll come right back and take your question. We've finished the judging, and we're going to be announcing it right here on Guidus TV. You don't want to miss that, because we have a first prize of $1,000, and the next entries that are chosen will all win $100. But that's not the best part. The best part is we have judges who are willing to help us do better the next time. Yeah. And everybody who signed up and everybody who put their video up there for us to judge, yeah, guess what? They're all going to get a beautiful prize. MashaAllah. We have gifts for every single one of all of you. So stay tuned, stay guided with Guidus TV. All right. Okay, and guys, we are back, and we're talking with our brother. Brother, what is your name, and where are you?
Abdul Delray Beach, Florida.
Oh, yes. He's in Florida, Abdul Nur. And what we would like to get is your question. So tell everybody your question.
Sure. The question is basically more like advice. How can you approach, or how can you do da'wah, non-believer that's a little bit older, and there's a language barrier involved?
Okay. One of the things that I like to take advantage of is the opportunity to let somebody else explore what they think already, because it really doesn't matter what I think. It matters what they think and what they're willing to do about what they think. So this means that you have to have a series of questions already in your mind that you prepare, and then you start out and you give them one by one by one, and they have to be in an order. For instance, you wouldn't start out by saying, well, would you like to be a Muslim today? Because that would be, unless they came up to you and said, well, I think we need to enter Islam. Well, okay, then the questions would be very direct. But suppose that we just talk about in general, and then let's leave out any reference to a particular book or to a particular person. That means for us as Muslims, we're not going to bring up the Quran or the Sunnah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam just yet. We're going to ask the person, in your opinion, is there a God? And if he says no, okay, so are you familiar with the universe and how it's stretched out and how it's expanding? Are you familiar with that? And if he said yeah, and you say, okay, according to your knowledge, where did people come from? And then let him talk. And then keep asking a question after a question after a question, rather than trying to establish that if you don't believe this, you're a kafir and you're going to go to hell forever. That is about as opposite of our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam as you can get. So what we would like to do is entertain the questions ourselves, and then listen to his answer, because maybe we can find something in his answer to ask another question. So, according to this person, he told us that there's no God, and we asked him where the universe come from. He said it's always been there. All right. Well, these two things don't work. If it's always been there, then why did the scientists tell us it is expanding? And by the way, that is in the Quran as well, that the universe is expanding. So if they say, well, there's a big bang, all right, in the Quran, we do have something saying that everything was all together and then Allah caused it to open out. But we're not going to say it exploded. We're not going to say it was a bomb. That's the difference between us and a Big Bang Theory, because it's not an accident. Because when you and I as Muslims, and we can ask the person, have you ever seen any of the videos of explosions? There was one recently in Beirut. Did you see that? Okay, so whenever there's an explosion, a random explosion with no direction, then there's chaos, there's trash, there's all this kind of stuff going on, all right? So the universe is not just a bunch of trash thrown out there. If you ever looked at the universe under a telescope or seen some of the images sent by the Hubble telescope back to us, you would recognize right away that these are orbs. These are round globes or balls that are rotating, and they're going in orbits, and they're making these elliptical orbits around suns, and the suns are also moving, and the whole galaxy is moving, and everything is moving, and it's like in a pattern. So if you understood that and you didn't realize that that was a pattern, you need to think about it. You know what I mean? So you keep asking the questions until you come to the point of, if everything has an originator, so why did that creator or originator create us in all of this? Because we're born and we die. Those are two things that we have to accept. So if somebody said, no, I wasn't born, or I'm not going to die, then this is somebody you can just say, well, have a nice day, all right? But if they agree that they were born and they agree that they're going to die, then why are we here? What is our purpose to be here? How could we wind up here if this creator is so, way beyond our ability to reason out, because there's no way we could create even a fly, much less a universe. So why would this creator put us here? So these are questions that you can ask to make them think. And along the way, if they start asking you questions, well, what do you say about it? What does your religion say? Well, in our religion, everything that I've just talked about is solved in one single book. It's called the Quran, the recitation. And then that's just, but the main thing you want to do, keep in mind this, especially with respect to our elders, that when we're talking to them, we don't want to draw a line and say that you're on that side and I'm on this side. I'm against you and we're going to have a debate. That is not the attitude of our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. As a matter of fact, we would sit down and invite them to have tea with us and be friendly, and we don't establish these people as our walis, our awliya, because that is what the Quran is telling us. You don't put these people in a position of leadership over you to tell you what to do. But you can have them as what we call friends, associates, colleagues, people that you work with, your peers, and so on. That is perfectly permissible. The Prophet ﷺ in Mecca, we know that he had many people that he gave dawah to, and he never turned his back on them and said, "Oh, you're a kafir. I'm not going to worry about you." You know what I mean? So I hope we're in some way able to establish a way for you to move forward.
Inshallah. Exactly. Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you, Abdul Noor.
Yeah, thank you so much.
We really appreciate you calling. وأنت كذلك. بارك الله فيكم. MashaAllah. Now that was our brother in Florida, Abdul Noor, and we make dua for him and for the person he's given the dawah to. All right. By the way, I should have started out the program telling everybody why Dr. Muhammad Salah is not here, because this was supposed to be Just Ask Islam. That's the name of the program, Just Ask Islam. And then I'm supposed to take the phone calls, and then we ask him to give us the answer from Quran and Sunnah. But he is very ill. We need to make dua for him to be back with us come Saturday. Yeah, tomorrow's Friday. Yeah, okay, there you go. I was got off track a while ago. So tomorrow being Friday, the 9th of Muharram. Saturday is the 10th of Muharram, and then the 11th of Muharram will be on Sunday. So if you can fast, that's a good idea to fast tomorrow, and then be sure you fast the next day, because the 10th is the one. And if you're unable to fast tomorrow for some reason, then fast on Saturday, and then go ahead and fast on the following day. But the sunnah is to fast the 9 and the 10. But if you're not able to do that, then try the 10 and the 11. And if you can't do the 9 or the 11, be sure to fast the 10th. All right? I hope I got that all right and made sense out of it. Okay, Richard, Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Yes. What do you?
Absolutely.
What when you were as a minister for the Baptist Church, did you ever have people come up to you and ask you, why are you a Baptist?
No, I didn't. I stayed away from anybody like that. I was in a Baptist world. We didn't hang around others. These false Christians like the Lutherans, the Presbyterians.
Whoa, wait a minute! You called them false Christians?
Yeah, from our standpoint, you betcha. Yeah, they weren't really there. They the Lutherans were kind of like the Catholics, and the Catholics worshipped the Mary and the Pope, and the Presbyterians were just real cold and didn't do much of anything, and the Pentecostals were kind of crazy people. But us Baptists, we had it right, so we didn't hang around anybody else. We stayed right within our gang, and if you were one of us, you were one of us. If you were not, we didn't have anything to do with you.
Wow. So no, you didn't actually talk to people about believing in God or believing in the Bible. That was a given, right? You already had to have that foundation.
Yeah. Well, we did in high school, with kids, we talk and stuff, but it was more kind of debating people from other denominations, and we'd be all shaking our heads going, these people are all crazy. They don't have the truth like we do. So it was, we didn't associate with anybody. We were the God's chosen Baptists.
Sister Kim, what about you? When you were growing up, what faith were you?
When I was very young, I was Protestant, and our church was actually very involved with interfaith communication. As a matter of fact, when Catholic Church needed to expand, the Protestant Church held a huge fundraiser for them to help them build a new church.
Astaghfirullah.
I'm sorry, what was that, Richard?
I was just saying, astaghfirullah. We never would have done that. We We had to help them tear it down.
Yeah, our Catholic Church sat maybe about 75 or 100 people. And so they had to do several services during the day on Sunday. And the Protestant church helped them build a massive church that fit everybody and had room to grow. And so we were on great terms with people of other religions in our town.
What city was that?
It was a little town called Boylston, Massachusetts.
Boylston?
Yes.
All right. And
I know you've been to Worcester, and Boylston was about 10 minutes outside of Worcester.
Worcester, Massachusetts.
Right.
All right. MashaAllah. So, sister, at any time, did you have an encounter where somebody asked you, well, why are you a Christian, or why do you believe in God, or did you have that kind of a thing? Hold on, we got to take a call here.
Now to pass on. You have a call.
Salaam alaikum, caller.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Who is this?
I'm calling from North Carolina. This is Barbara.
Barbara. All right, MashaAllah, Barbara. Do you have a question for us today?
Yes, I do. You know, I've been listening to the program today since the beginning, and it seems like, you know, every news that we've been hearing for the last few months is just bad news everywhere you turn your face to. Like, you know, the protesting, the coronavirus, the losing of job, the changes of school. You know, it's been a lot. It's been a lot going on around the world. So what would be your advice as, you know, like, for example, I have kids, right? So what would be your advice for us, Muslim community, that, but not only Muslim, but in general, whoever is listening to the program, you know, what would be your advice for us not to lose hope, not to get so stressed? Because, like, sometimes you lose your job, especially right now with the coronavirus. It's been really hard
All right.
for families to support. So what would be your advice to not lose hope, not let the stress get into you, and how can you keep your kids away from all of this?
Well, anytime somebody asks a question like that, we need, I think, to approach it very carefully, because you're talking about people's feelings, and we can't see their feelings. Sometimes people have a lot more emotion than they're showing you. They're only showing you a little bit, but there's something really raging going on inside. So you have to be very careful when you come up to these subjects. When somebody asks you, well, what would you do if somebody in your family did XYZ? If they ask a question like that, maybe that happened, maybe it didn't happen, but we want to be careful. So I like to ask questions that are relative to bringing their opinions out, more so than me trying to convince them to do what I do. For instance, when somebody tells me about they've lost a job, how should they react? They've lost a loved one. Somebody passed away. Somebody got really sick. Somebody is taking something that didn't belong to them. A child has cheated on a test. All of these different things that I'm bringing up are something that you could view several different ways. So you ask them, so how do you feel about that? Now, this is something that people that are in the psychology business, you know, the psychologists and psychiatrists, they always like to ask you, how do you feel about that? Because not necessarily are they going to give you the answer you're anticipating. You anticipate an answer based on your own thoughts and average, other people. But then all of a sudden, maybe that's not going to work. So that's why you ask them, how does that make you feel? How do you react to that? What is your view on that? Tell me more about that so I can understand. Those kinds of questions will really open up their mind and their heart at the same time. Now, for instance, let's talk about that. Let's talk about, do you know somebody right now, sister, who is having those kind of feelings?
Yes.
All right. And how would you ask, what would your interaction with them be?
Well, I try to give them hope. Even I try to, tell them that you could keep working. Like, for example, if right now with everything that is going on, I have had friends, family that they lose their job and they're very wary, and their worry affect me because I see it. So.
Okay.
Yes, of course.
Okay. Now, see what you said. You said that their problem or their concern is starting to affect you. Is that right?
Yes.
All right. So now I would ask you this question. Why is it? What do you feel coming from them that is putting a burden on you? Is this somebody that you're going to have to financially support, or is it somebody that you're going to have to help them find another job? Or is this just some person that's trying to unload their problems onto you?
No, I guess I'm just there for emotional support because I don't help them.
That really doesn't, you know what you just said really doesn't work. If you're taking a feeling and you're feeling something and saying, I'm feeling that with them, that's not emotional support. That's you superimposing what you consider maybe is their feeling, and you're taking that on for no reason. Because what happens to you is real. But what's happening to me may not be the same reality that it is for you. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay, let's, from the Islamic point of view, let's come to that. Now, if I'm talking to a Muslim, obviously I'm going to mention the first and foremost thing is nothing is going to happen to you or to anybody except that Allah has willed that to happen. There is no accident. There's no such thing as an accident that Allah didn't prepare for. He already knows everything before He ever started creating. Okay? You know that, right?
Yes, of course, I do.
Okay. So if Allah already knows and He willed it, because nothing can happen except through Allah's will. Is that true?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So He already knew this was going to be. He already understood where you were going to be. He already understood where they're going to be. He had all of that planned out for a reason. Now, the Prophet ﷺ talked to us about several things, not the least of which is this anxiety that we have. When we get stressed out, the first thing that happens, according to psychiatrists, they tell us that the first thing is a disappointment. Something didn't go the way you wanted it to go. And then the next thing is a reaction of that, and you become what we call depressed. And then we get stressed. And then after that, we take it to another level. And if somebody doesn't turn it around, they'll go to an extreme. Some people kill themselves. Some people kill each other. Some people do very irrational things, all because there was no checkpoint along the way to stop them. Do you follow that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So what should we do if we find ourselves in a predicament like that? Well, first and foremost is to realize that this is from Allah. So we say, Qadr Allah, means Allah is the one who willed this to happen. And then we say, MashaAllah, because it's His will. And we move forward. We say, Alhamdulillah, praises to Allah. And all of these things will relax us inside when we say that. If we understand what we're talking about, we say, Qadr Allah, MashaAllah, Alhamdulillah, or words to that effect, so that we realize and remind ourselves there's nothing going to happen to me except that it's already been planned out by Allah. Now, if I don't have food to eat tomorrow, but I worked, I tried to get food, but I didn't get any, okay, so Allah didn't want me to eat. Okay, I'll live with that. And I'm not going to stress myself over these things. I'm also not going to stress myself over other people's concerns. But I will try to help them. Absolutely, I would do that. But I am not going to let myself be burdened down by other people's problems. That's not going to happen. I will do is I will listen and I will try to help them through whatever, but I'm not going to let it be like whenever I walk away from them, I feel like, oh, I'm all depressed. I can't get on with my life now because this person told me this and this and this. Yeah, there's a lot of things going on today. A lot of things going on all the time. But these are tests for us. They're just tests. How do you respond? How do you react? Is it any of this helping your faith grow stronger or making it worse? And they're telling us we have to go off the air. Sister Barbara, if we could continue this tomorrow, it would be so amazing. Would you like to call in again tomorrow?
Inshallah, yes, I will. Yes,
let's pick it up where we left off. And let me tell my guests, thank you for being with me. Brother Richard, salam alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Thank you for being with us today, mashallah. Sister Kim, I wanted to also thank you for being with us today.
No, thank you very much for having me.
All right. And for Sister Barbara, who's on the phone with me, be sure you call back and call me right after 9 o'clock your time. Okay? All right. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Jazakallah khair, sister. Oh, everybody stay tuned and stay guided with
Guidance TV.
Yeah, Barbara got it. We've finished the judging and we're going to be announcing it right here on Guidance TV. You don't want to miss that because we have a first prize of $1,000 and the next entries that are chosen will all win $100. But that's not the best part. The best part is we have judges who are willing to help us do better the next time. Yeah. And everybody who signed up and everybody who put their video up there for us to judge, yeah, guess what? They're all going to get a beautiful prize. MashaAllah. We have gifts for every single one of all of